All right, everybody. Welcome back to Fallen Angels. I hope you're enjoying my new turnaround with the way I'm doing my videos. I'm reacting to TikTok videos. This is turning into just a reaction channel. Wow, my hair is looking real good. Sorry, guys. But it's a reaction channel. And if you do enjoy watching my videos from now on, and you want to be a fallen angel just like everybody else, please hit subscribe. If you're watching on TV and you can't do so, but you're here visiting and watching the video, I do enjoy that. I like the fact that you've done that, and I'm happy you're here. If you're a subscriber and you're used to this, much love. Always happy you're here. The ones that always give me the messages down below, I love you guys. You guys are motivating me to do the right thing and just stay on the right path. And this is just what it's going to be for a while. Little bit I might react to a story, just to a story, one single story about a younger girl having sex with an older man, and it's a horrible story. But for now, I'm doing some twerks again, mixed in with some TikToks. So it's stuff for guys and it's stuff for everybody as well. But please subscribe. And here we go. Enough of me talking. John, you can shut up now. Play the video.
Lake Peigneur incident in Louisiana.
No.
Underneath this lake was a vast amount of salt. So a salt mine company started in 1910, salt mining underneath this lake. And it just so happened this lake was also on an oil reserve. So 1980, while Texaco was drilling in this lake, they accidentally pierced into the salt mine.
Oh no!
Drilled straight into it. There's 55 salt mine workers down the salt mine. I mean, hundreds of thousands of feet below the surface.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they just started hearing this like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then all of a sudden there's like, you see this like, bloop, and they're like, uh-oh. And then all of a sudden it's like, the water started just gushing in. Luckily, all 55 salt miners were able to get out, but this thing filled up within minutes. The guys that were running the barge up top, they heard this clanking sound, like, what in the world? And they kept on drilling, and all of a sudden, just this small whirlpool started forming in the middle of the lake. And then all of a sudden, it started getting faster and faster. They all escaped, but it ended up sucking in the entire barge. This little island that was on the lake sucked that in. That had a house on it, sucked in trucks, boats, a tugboat. No one died in this incident. But they said that at one point, it created the largest waterfall in Louisiana. It was literally a 200-foot waterfall in the middle of this lake, sucking in the entire lake.
Oh my gosh.
Straight down.
It sucked it all in, and there was a canal leading from the lake to the Gulf of Mexico. It was such pressure that it went in, and when it hit, it blew back up like a geyser. And when it did that, the canal reversed where the Gulf of Mexico sucked salt water into the lake. And so now this lake is a saltwater lake, and it's up to 1,300 feet deep.
Yikes.
They said it was the largest infrastructure catastrophe with 0 casualties. They said it rushed back in. They said it was almost like a tidal wave from the Gulf of Mexico.
Dude, a surfer's just getting sucked into Louisiana. No!
Wow. Yeah, I don't know if this music's gonna be able to stay, but that's gonna be able to stay. Hope you guys like it. Did last time, but not thumbs up. Better thank my fiance because she's putting them in here for you guys.
This is the room occupied by the 13-year-old girl and the 16-year-old girl. Most of the phenomena that occurs in this room seems to happen in and around the closet area, although in this room we have had the disappearance and reappearance of personal objects of the 2 teenage girls. This is the closet area, and especially in the back of this closet, where they will hear much of the rapping that takes place in this bedroom.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per
That looks
person. That's
crazy.
£200 off for a family of 4.
Holy shit.
What is a government cover-up that genuinely scares you? Project Sunshine was started in 1953, and it was created to study the effects of nuclear fallout on the human body. In particular, they were trying to research the radioactive isotope strontium-90, which I probably said that wrong. But this was thought to have the most serious ill effects on the human body, and scientists wanted to study it more. They decided that the best way to study the effects was to study on human bodies, like people who had passed on their bodies. But in particular, they wanted younger children because their bones were more porous and able to take more of this stuff in, from what I understand. But on January 18th of 1955, Dr. Willard Libby said that there was insufficient data because they were not able to get the bodies that they needed. In fact, he was even quoted saying that there was insufficient data and that he didn't know how to get his hands on these bodies. So he said, if anyone knows how to do a good job of body snatching, they will be serving their country. This would lead to over 1,500 samples to be gathered. Only 500 of them were used, but it would later come out that they had got these bodies in some seriously messed up ways. Many of these young bodies were taken from families in Europe and Australia and the United States without their parents' consent. One British mother came forward and said that she had lost her baby during childbirth, and doctors told her that she could not dress her own baby because it turns out that they had removed this baby's legs and shipped them over to the United States to be studied. So she was not able to dress her baby so that she wouldn't find out what they had done. By 1958, the study was brought to Belgium, and this is where they started studying the effects of nuclear fallout in the soil and how the soil would produce plants that cows would then eat and then we would consume, like the meat and the milk that came from this cattle. But regardless, these children were taken from these families without their consent, and this was a huge government cover-up for a long time. So what are your thoughts on this? Let me know down in the comments and follow.
Thoughts of it is this is horrible. Horrible news. Horrible. There you go. No music, so don't have to worry. That was quick, too.
What has become a tradition here is a song that captures the spirit of what we're doing here tonight. Let's gather around the piano that I don't actually play.
Okay.
Hey, I have a question. Has anyone here ever actually been to hell?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone?
Of course, yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
What's it like? Well, hell's terrible, Jimmy. It really is. But if it's so bad, why did you all go there?
Well, Jimmy, hell is where our agents make our deals with the devil.
Oh, that explains that.
Hey, just a reminder, no one prepared you for what you were gonna go through.
This is the most scared I've ever been to make a video. What you are seeing right here is the group of 100 people that own all of the most powerful and wealthy corporations in the entire world. And yes, that they are literally owned by the same 100 people repeatedly. And the amount of wealth that is accumulated from these companies cannot even be quantified. For example, see McDonald's over here. McDonald's by itself is worth $207 billion, and that is just one of all of these massive corporations. If you take a screenshot of this picture, you can zoom in and see the names of all of these people. They are called the Bilderberg Group. It's an outward look at some of those businesses that they own because they all branch out into other areas. Also, coincidentally, 33 people of everyone in this group is in the United States. And this is also just kind of funny, but one of the guys' names in there is Ed Balls.
Dumb joke. Look at that. Gotta thank my fiance. And thumbs up.
You still don't know that they're all on the same team? All of them? And I mean all of them. It's not the team I'm on, that's for sure. It's this team, the Freemasons, and this team that running mates were on. You know, people running against each other, both people from the same Yale secret society. One of them was going to control us with the same freaking background. Don't believe me about this?
You were both in Skull and Bone with the secret society. It's so secret we can't talk about it. What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go wild. I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the red. Number 322.
And they love this number because a third of the angels fell and they worship the fallen angels and Lucifer. They tell us about their lives with the number 33. Look at this lead article today about CK, which, by the way, C is the third letter of the alphabet, K is the 11th. 3 times 11 is 33 on the third day. And then let's scroll down. Oh, about 3,000 people there, more than 300 cases, 33. And guess what? They also like the number 66 because it's biblical, it's evil, it's the mark of the beast. Well, 666, but they use 66. January is 1, plus 2 is 3, plus 2 is 5, plus another 1 is 6. So 66 and 33 from the third of the angels that they worship with Lucifer, who fell. You are being played on such a massive scale that it makes me want to throw up that you believe what the TV is telling you. It's a false flag. Oh, false flag. F. Guess what letter F is? A, B, C, D, E, F. That's 6. Another 66. You know all the news stations? All of them? They say they're owned by six different companies, but there's only 2 companies that own all of them. Disney. Oh. Look at Viacom. And it's all of them down the line. You're being played, people, and I'm just trying to help you figure that out. That was 1 second before, and that was 1 second after. It glitched, and no, it's not a clip ring. I watched the video. It literally jumps. I don't care if it's a clip ring. A clip ring doesn't jump. You're being played. It's time to figure it out. But of course, all this for entertainment purposes. It's my opinion, and I gotta say this or they're gonna take my video down. Entertainment only.
I've always had a fixation on the dark web, but when I was 15, I actually went down the rabbit hole. If you know me, you know that I love everything spooky, creepy, mysterious. For some reason, I decided to live that to the fullest extent possible when I was 15 and went onto the dark web. 5 years later, I finally feel safe and comfortable enough to share it with everyone. Just bear with me, it's kind of spooky. If you're watching this at night, maybe come back at a different time. Been on the dark web, you know, it takes a while to find something actually jaw-dropping. A lot of it's just like broken onion links and things like that. What are most accessible on the dark web from my experience are things like drugs. However, I finally was able, after hours of scrolling and searching, able to find a website that was hella spooky. Basically, it was a massive group chat. It was a black background with red text with a lot of what I think were satanic symbols and a lot of like really poorly coded things all around the website. I stumbled into a bunch of people talking in tongues and in different languages. Finally, somebody said my name. They said, blank, what are you looking for? I threw my phone. I was so scared. Even though I was 15, I was smart enough to use a VPN and cover my camera and everything, but this obviously scared the living shit out of me. My stupid, curious ass responded saying, oh, I'm just browsing. They sent a bunch of links, which I did not click on. Well, here are the categories that are most popular within this chat. It was things that I can't even say. I got booted out of that chat, and I still wanted to continue my journey on the dark web. So as I'm going along, I see this site that is just horrific. I've seen those websites where, you know, people are each other and things like that, but this website that I came across were animals attacking humans and a lot of other stuff. That's not even the weirdest part. Finally got off whenever I saw in a different group chat a photo of a black camera being posted, and somebody said, looks like this little girl was smart enough to cover their camera. Somebody replied to it saying, is that the girl Emily who just joined? That's me. I said, hell no, I exited out of everything, whatever. Creepiest part is when I started getting no caller ID calls, which I never answered, and message requests, hundreds of message requests to my Instagram account. I had a really bad gut feeling, so I never opened the message requests. You know how on Instagram when you open a message request and somebody sent a photo that you can't actually see the photo until you accept it? That's what they were photos, and I was too much of a pussy. I literally just deleted my Instagram account and started over. I never saw what all of those message requests were for. I was shitting bricks. Basically, don't go on the dark web. Don't be like me. It is a terrifying and traumatizing experience. Definitely changed the way that I saw strangers that I walk past every day and how I just saw the internet in general. Stay curious, but always, always, always stay safe.
Wonder what this is all about. What was the point? Well, there you go. I know what the point of that is. Thank my fiance. Leave a thumbs up, man. These are everywhere throughout the whole video.
A fucking soldier would dip his fucking bayonet in fucking cow shit, then wipe the extra fucked mess off and hook it back onto his fucking rifle before going into the fucked...
Before this starts, let me say what they do in prison. When they make the picks or the number 11, you know, whatever, the $1.50 you go in your mouth, they would, or you could just take the top of a can and just fold it and just sharpen it a little bit, and you could just really cut someone's face open. But what they would do is put shit, piss, dirt, mud, just let that shit have crap and just rust from all the shit and the piss and all the dirt and crap you put on it, then cut your face open. And it wouldn't just heal with a nice little scar, it would heal with a big fucking nasty scar. So I know exactly what they're fucking talking about.
...up battle. You see in fucking World War II, a clean fucking blade would only cut the poor fucker, but a dirty fucked one would infect and fucking rot the flesh too. This
See?
shit fucking worked a lot, but it was way more fucking painful and fucked up for the poor bastard. But that wasn't the only fucking fucked up trick they used. The enemy dropped a fucking airdrop for the Germans in World War II. Inside were fucking gold-plated rifles. The dumb fucks got excited and gave them to their best fucking snipers. And when those snipers fucking hid and pulled the trigger, it wouldn't fucking fire but sent their exact fucking location. And the poor fuckers got fucking airstruck in seconds, blown to fucking pieces with no chance to fucking escape. A brutal fucked up trap designed to slaughter them, and they didn't even see the shit coming. Just one more way, this fucked up war.
Fucked up. Lunch. Car.
There's a guy out there and he's just staring out my window. What is he doing? What the hell? He's staring at me.
Jump scare. I'm hearing it right in my ear. Seems genuinely scared.
Oh my god, I think there was something fucking in my room. I don't know.
Definitely is. Shit was a little intense. You're welcome. She says you're welcome too. See them butts going? I know I did. I know you did too. She's still shaking. She got my fiance to thank because I'm with somebody and she's letting this come on my videos. So help me monetize. Help us monetize. Subscribe. Hit thank you. Hit like.
They said it was about freedom and democracy, but here's what was left out. Under Gaddafi, Libyans enjoyed free electricity, zero-interest loans, and state-owned banks. Newlyweds received $60,000. Education and healthcare were entirely free, boosting literacy from 25% to over 80%. Farmers were given land, livestock, and housing at no cost. Medical treatment abroad was covered up to $2,000. Gasoline cost just 14 cents per liter, and the government paid 50% when buying a car. Graduates unable to find jobs received an average salary until employed. Oil profits were shared directly with citizens through bank deposits. Mothers received $5,000 upon childbirth. Bread, 40 loaves, cost only 15 cents. Libya had zero debt and $150 billion in reserves, now frozen globally. Gaddafi also launched the world's largest irrigation project to bring water to the desert, a legacy rarely mentioned in mainstream narrative. It was called the Great Man-Made River, and it aimed to turn Libya's barren land into green, fertile farmland. The project cost billions, but it wasn't for profit. It was for the people. While others talked about sustainability, Gaddafi was actually building it beneath the sand.
It's a shame what happened. But I'm not here for political stuff. in between. Gotta watch the whole video. You'll get them in between. Sometimes you'll get 2 in a row. I don't even know what to say. Other than thank you to my fiance. And you can by hitting the thumbs up and watching. And subscribing. Not enough of you subscribe. Now they're free at the moment.
But what about this video? I mean, check this video out, everybody. I mean, this is, again, over Asia. And
I think this is Afghanistan and near the Pakistan border. Is that correct, Jeremy?
That's
right
correct. It looks like there's a heat shield on this thing. What is this?
It was described by our own intelligence agencies who've been investigating UAP that this was a UAP navigating through the clouds. This is not a flare. This is not a lens artifact. This is an object that has no traditional propulsion, but it appears to me in the definition by our own military to be a UAP or a UFO. Now, just to be very clear in the footage you're seeing, people have said, oh, we AI enhanced it. No. Hold up. I provided to the public the 3 core videos directly by our Department of Defense, directly by the intelligence agencies studying this. Now, the white ring around it, I don't know if that's an artifact of the thermal signature, the heat signature, or if that's an artifact of the enhancement that our military intelligence did on the footage. What do we have that flies like that, Harvey? What do we have? We've been told about UFOs for so long.
But Jeremy, it looks like, I'm thinking back to the Mercury days and the Apollo days, it looks like a space capsule coming down.
The bottom of the capsule.
Right.
That would be so cool. Our intelligence agencies still call this UAP since 2020. They do not have resolve on it. They don't believe it to be ours, and they don't believe it to be a known craft of terrestrial nation, or they would have labeled it some, experimental Russian ship. They didn't. They labeled it UAP. And remember, UAP is directly tied to NHI, non-human intelligence. And that was the bill that Senator Rounds and Senator Schumer put onto legislation and tried to get it passed. It's coming a 3rd time now in the big, beautiful bill thing. They're going to try to put the disclosure language in there.
How are we doing on this now with this new administration? Have you seen any change?
How are we doing? Well, we have the opportunity through a new task force under Trump that's supposed to be about transparency, run by Representative Luna, to have new hearings. I have the direct first-hand whistleblowers that would pack that hearing, and the American public could hear from them. So how it's going, that all depends. Are we going to have another hearing?
I know after that first big hearing a year or so ago, there was a lot of hope and then a lot of frustration that there was still that kind of secrecy and a wall. Has the wall come? Is there a Reagan saying, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall in Donald Trump?
I think this secret has been held back from the American public so well for so long that we've even ridiculed it in our media for decades. However, there are fissures, there are cracks, and I am a juggernaut, and I am not stopping. And there's others like me who are going to continue to report, and I am extremely hopeful, because if Congress doesn't do their job, then we are going to do it for them.
I just hope, which I believe like Luis Elizondo and that Dr. Stephen Greer, and I hope not him, but people like him, they're just PR, public relations. I mean, they're all part of the system. They're all part of the DOD, the intelligence, as far as this and that. They've all contracted through this and that stuff with the government. So anything that we get from them, they make it look like they're giving this out because they're doing something that the government wouldn't do. But they're giving out what the government's giving them to give out, and to keep that lifestyle looking like that, where they're sneaking out information to us, to the public. It's what the public wants us to see, what the government wants the public to see and hear, and to get in our minds, to get us distracted from what's really going on. I hope he ain't one of them. but I believe everybody else that's connected is. You know, that's just me. You know, you guys could think, you know, whatever you want. You're all right. You know, whichever way you think, you're completely right. But put it down below what you guys really think about situations such as that.
Do not quote me on this because I could be 100% wrong. But I just, look, as soon as I saw this video, I'm going to tag her in it and tag her in this video. But I saw her video. She said something very small. And from that small thing that she said, my mind went a mile away from what she said. And it didn't even have nothing to do with what I thought. It had nothing, not necessarily, but in a way it had nothing to do with what she was talking about. This year, because of everything that's been going on, where unpopular opinion, I'm gonna just let you know right now, you ain't gotta agree, you can think I'm crazy, whatever, it is my mind. I'm not crazy, but my mind do go yards away from what I originally be thinking. So let me just say this, I do think that this year's Thanksgiving is gonna be rough. Reason why I say that is because no, it's not gonna be rough, but they're targeting Thanksgiving to be the day that everybody basically becomes submissive. Reason why I say that is because a lot of things has been going on in the U.S. Lots of it. If you're American, you don't even gotta be American to know what's been going on in the U.S. We've been going through a lot. So with things that's just been going on lately, a lot of people, there's a collective that are waking up to a lot of things that are going on, especially a collective of people that don't usually notice these things. There's people that been living their entire lives thinking that everything was normal or everything is good, and now they're just now seeing that we're not supposed to be living this way. Anyway, because there's a large mass of a collective of people that are waking up to a lot of things that is going on in the world, I feel like the government are gonna target Thanksgiving and market Thanksgiving way more than they did ever before. Reason why I say that is because they control everything, literally. Like, we all know this at this point. They control the money, they control the marketing, they control the food. Not only that, and this is basic common sense, it should be at this point, the U.S. government controls our money and our health. Just put two and two together. What is the main dish? What is the picture of Thanksgiving? A turkey. Me and you both know what they be doing to the chickens and the meats and like just all proteins, I should say, that we as humans eat. There's hella children missing this year. I ain't even gonna get too deep into it. Y'all already put two and two together. They're gonna target Thanksgiving, and literally they're hoping and it's like what's the word? Like that's their plan. That's what they're aiming for, Thanksgiving. I could be 100% wrong, but I just had to get that out because I felt this inkling, like they're gonna mess with all foods that are designed for Thanksgiving and market and push it out for everyone to purchase and get and consume. Here's another part to that. They've been talking about aliens coming back in November. I don't know what day. I could be 100% wrong. But I feel like whatever they're going to do with Thanksgiving this year is going to be strongly linked to the aliens coming back in November. Coming back, but coming here in November. I don't know. I ain't even high, so I don't know. I could be 100% wrong. I don't know. Y'all have a good day.
There's another one. Flopping. Open and closing. Just think of it right here. It's what I used to think. Till I got my love of my life, but butt is the favorite part of my body. Not of my body, of woman's body. And I can eat butt for hours. Just watch a movie and sit on my face. Don't worry about it.
This is a truly disturbing image. A Mexican TikToker and her family were recently found wrapped in plastic and dumped in their pickup truck. Along with Esmeralda was her husband and 2 children, which were only 7 and 13 years old. In fact, this happened in the same state that TikToker Valeria Marquez was killed in just a few months ago. Now, the family's bodies were found on August the 22nd inside a van that had been abandoned at a mechanic's shop. Police arrested 3 men who were described as the managers of the mechanic shop, but they were later released due to insufficient evidence linking them to the crime. Local media report that those men were then kidnapped after leaving Jalisco's prosecutor's office. According to initial investigations, the attack was not directed at Esmeralda, but rather her husband.
December 11th, 2002, with the letterhead being that this is from Alan M. Dershowitz, the defense lawyer of Jeffrey and the president and Harvey Weinstein and O.J. Simpson and Benjamin Netanyahu. Oh, and we cannot forget, close friend of Daphne Barak, enemy of the channel. He writes to Jeffrey, "Dear Jeffrey, as a birthday gift to you, I managed to obtain an early version of the Vanity Fair article. I talked them into changing the focus from you to Bill Clinton, as you will see from the enclosed excerpt. Happy birthday and best regards, Alan." This email, letter, whatever, was sent in December of 2002. So I believe this is referring to Vicky Ward's bombshell article, The Talented Mr. Epstein. And like, just a side note, do you guys remember when Jessica Reed Krause, House and Habit, came after Olivia Newsy in the way that she did, released an article playing off of Vicky Ward's title, The Talented Mr. Epstein, and Jessica Reed Krause wrote and titled an article that was just slandering Olivia Newsy called The Talented Miss Newsy, and it was just like, that's not appropriate. Not even close to similar situations or stories. Like, and honestly, that 2003 article, certainly focused on Jeffrey too, not just Bill Clinton. So I don't even know why Alan Dershowitz would send this and be like, we're all good, it's all good. They're gonna talk about Bill Clinton. Meanwhile, Jeffrey's name is in the title. But I guess Alan Dershowitz had something to do with this article in the way that he was able to get Vanity Fair, pressure Vanity Fair to not speak to 2 specific victims of Jeffrey. Wow, what a career. I bet he feels so proud of himself every time he lays his head down at night. What a career. And can we keep in mind, just a few years before Alan Dershowitz sent this letter to Jeffrey, he wrote and published a piece in which he made an argument as to why the age of consent should be lowered to 14 or 15. Just a mess.
Slow it down so I don't get copyright for Taylor
What's
Swift.
that? Oh, a girl was doing research on the Rothschilds and then the very next day had a wild incident that completely freaked her out? Tell me more. Yeah, after this girl was doing research on the Rothschilds and how they've risen to where they're at and how they've taken over practically everything in the world, and how she didn't like them for that and the things that they've done. The very next day, a guy, as she's walking her dog, comes sprinting towards her and yells, "Rothschilds," and freaks her out. She starts to back up and wasn't sure what was about to happen, but then the guy took off the other direction, got into an unmarked van, and drove off. Oh, fun! After driving off and then getting home to her residence, there was a note on her door saying, "Be careful who you talk about and how you talk about them." Oh, goody! However, it didn't stop there. Her phone started ringing that night at about 2 in the morning, and all they would say on the phone is, "Rothschilds," and then would hang up. Goody!
With all this coochie I got on me, pussy falling off the bone, bet he won't come home, cause I'ma ride his face till he.
Music again. I gotta see about that music with that bucket stay.
Do not eat from any fast food restaurant on September the 18th of 2023. Here is the reason why there's a bunch of speculation on this date right now. So September 18th, which is in 2 days, is National Cheeseburger Day. A bunch of different chains of fast food restaurants are hosting a huge sale on cheeseburgers, but here's the problem. I'll let you know which restaurants in just a second. So the reason why this is all blowing up in the first place is because of The Simpsons. So as we all already know, The Simpsons have told the future time and time and time again on their episodes. So the specific episode of The Simpsons that hosts this burger sale is season 21, episode 4, and it's about burgers squared. So in this Simpsons episode, Krusty the Clown is standing outside the burger location and he's explaining to the news anchor that the burgers are made by feeding cows to other cows before the unholy results are served on a whole grain bun. And then all of the people that eat these burgers are turning into zombies. Obviously, do with this information as you please, but here's some of the locations that are doing the sale. We obviously have McDonald's, we also have Burger King, we also have Wakendies, also Applebee's and Dairy Queen. Let me know if you're gonna be eating burgers on this day or not, and make sure you hit the plus and come back for updates. I'm gonna watch this.
Pterodactyl Nazca mummies has captured worldwide attention, and recent DNA evidence paired with unprecedented photographic documentation has provided insights like never before. For years, the strange remains uncovered near the Nazca region of Peru were surrounded by controversy, speculation, and skepticism. Now, however, the combination of genetic analysis, bioinformatics research, and advanced scanning techniques has transformed the discussion, suggesting that these mummies represent one of the most extraordinary archaeological revelations of the century. Researchers announced that preserved tissue, muscles, and organs remain within the mummified bodies. This degree of preservation is remarkable, considering the age of the remains, and has allowed for deeper biological analysis than had ever been possible before. Even more astonishing is the revelation that one of the specimens was pregnant at the time of death, offering unprecedented evidence that these beings lived, reproduced, and had distinct life cycles. The implications of such findings have forced scientists to reconsider long-held assumptions about human history and ancient diversity. One of the leading voices analyzing the genetic findings has been bioinformatics specialist Elena Hardy. She explained that she began her work attempting to disprove the notion that these beings' unique anatomy could be explained by genetics. She focused on polydactyly, a condition that causes individuals to develop extra digits, and investigated whether a mutation might explain the tridactyl hands of the mummies. She identified a mutation in a gene known as GLY3, which is associated with polydactyly. This offered a potential explanation, but did not account for the broader anatomical anomalies present in the Nazca specimens. Genetic testing revealed that the DNA from the mummies mostly matched human genetic profiles, though contamination and degradation, common with ancient samples, introduced challenges. Scientists extracted genetic material from both bone and muscle tissue using advanced techniques developed for fragile and ancient remains. Once isolated, these fragments were sequenced and reconstructed through bioinformatics tools, allowing researchers to cross-reference the sequences against terrestrial organisms. Some fragments could not be immediately identified, though further refinement suggested these too were likely from terrestrial sources. The conclusion was that the mummies were not fabricated constructs, but genuine biological entities with predominantly human genetic markers, albeit with mutations that remain incompletely understood. Among the most extraordinary of these findings is that of Montserrat. Unlike any specimen previously unearthed, Montserrat has offered researchers an unprecedented glimpse into the mysteries surrounding these tridactyl beings. Unearthed in the Nazca region of Peru, Montserrat's preserved body revealed evidence of a developing entity within, a fetus that displayed the same distinctive tridactyl traits that have come to define the Nazca mummies. The presence of this fetus has transformed the conversation, moving the discussion from questions of authenticity to questions of life cycles, reproduction, and the very origins of these beings. The tridactyl feature, 3 elongated fingers, remains the most defining characteristic of these specimens. Montserrat's fetus exhibited this same unusual structure, confirming that the developing body was not an unrelated anomaly, but rather a member of the same species. This discovery indicates...
Did you know the birthmark theory goes way deeper than most people think? Now, listen carefully, because some of this is unsettling. You know how most people have a birthmark, right? Well, apparently, the absence of one can mean it's your first reincarnation. Or maybe your last life ended naturally. No trauma, no scars. It could also mean you've spiritually evolved to the point of letting go of all past pain. But here's the weird part. If you have freckles or you are an albino, it said those are signs of being burned in a past life. They say fire leaves its mark forever across lifetimes. And those weird discolored marks, that's supposedly the body remembering fire wounds that healed. There's even this doctor, I think his name was Dr. Stevenson, but don't quote me on that. He studied kids like 2 to 4 years old because their memories weren't clouded yet. And these kids, they didn't just remember past lives, they matched the details. Some even had physical marks that lined up with how they supposedly died. And the wildest part, in some cases, these kids were recognized by people they'd supposedly known in another life. Isn't that insane? This is just a theory, not a fact.
Quickie.
So this couple named James and Ellen White, they were like the religious power couple behind the whole SDA church movement. Ellen was hit in the head with a rock. Oh, sorry. And ever since then, she said that she had divine visions. One of Ellen White's big obsessions in the church was sexual purity. She wrote all about the health problems that she believed were associated with masturbation. She said for men, masturbation could result in, quote, imbecility, dwarfed forms, crippled limbs, misshapen heads, and deformity of every description. Now, Ellen warned the people that masturbation in women could lead to loss of memory, eyesight, weak spines, cancer, and eventually insanity.
Mary Magdalene was a very important person, and she has been overlooked altogether because Jesus did have women disciples, and all of that has been removed from the Bible also. And she was a favorite. She was trained in Egypt, and she was an Egyptian priestess, had a great deal of Gnostic knowledge and metaphysical knowledge. And she was able to converse with Jesus because there were many people at that time, even his own followers, that he couldn't converse with. They didn't have the metaphysical background or the knowledge that he did. That's why he was very lonely. So he really enjoyed being with Mary Magdalene so that he could talk about these things. So she was like a favorite. And they would spend many hours just away from the other disciples, just talking. And the other men disciples were jealous, especially Peter. And there are many accounts of how he tried to undermine her as to why are you giving a woman all of this attention and these responsibilities. This is also in the Lost Gospels of the Bible. If you can find those, they're in any library. Some people write to me and say, where can I find this information? One is the Gospel of Thomas. There are many lost Gospels that are in the records if you want to go to the library and find them. And I especially encourage you to find The Drama of the Lost Disciples. There are many other books also about the adventures that Jesus had when he was a young boy there in England.
Apple's best phone will always be the iPhone 13 Pro Max. If you know, you know. I refuse to let go of that phone. My main phone is the iPhone 16 Pro Max. And it's it's okay. It's cool. But the best fucking phone on the planet by Apple is the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Tell the board to go back to the drawing board and bring it back. Bring it back. Because they didn't need to update. They didn't need to update from the 13 Pro Max. It was absolute perfection. The way it takes pictures.
13 Pro Max.
Like, I never had any issues with that phone.
Got my girl the
However, when I got
15
the
or
iPhone
16
16 Pro Max, I started having some problems. The pictures,
I got a 15 Pro
it's okay,
Max.
it's cute, especially the back camera.
But I got the 13
Selfie
Pro
camera,
Max.
It's okay, but iPhone 13
She
Pro
got it for
Max,
me.
front and back camera,
It was brand new.
chef's kiss. If you know, you know.
These people go crazy. Watch what they'll pay
It's
for it
about
now.
everybody. There is no red side, there's no blue side, everybody is guilty. So question, when you ask about, everybody has some questions for me. I got a question for you. I'm dead serious right now. I'm so serious. Who do you think that you are bucking at? When you're asking where are the children, who do you think you are talking to? Do you not think that you are going to be in the same boat that we are? Who do you think you are bucking at? Who did you think this whole time we were talking to? The same people that you are bucking at and saying, where the hell is the list, is the same people that won't leave us alone, big and little. So who the hell do y'all, what war do we think that we are in? Everybody, I just want to know. Who do you think we bucking at?
True.
iPhone 13 Pro Maxers, hold strong. Do not fall for the bait. Don't fall for the bait. They're trying to get you to trade in your phone, your iPhone 13 Pro Max, so that you can get money for it. What they're going to do is they're going to put Starlink on your phone. iPhone 13 Pro Max, I'm pretty sure, is the last iPhone that they have released before they can't put Starlink on here. All the other ones are going to put it on there. You're not going to upgrade. They know the iPhone 13 Pro Maxers have not upgraded their phone, and they're holding it back. They're holding the Apple, whatever their evil ulterior motive mastermind plan is that they have in their head. You're stopping them from doing it because there's so many people that have their iPhone 13 Pro Maxes. That's why they're offering you damn near $2,000 to bring it in. Don't trade it in. Do not sell your soul. Keep the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Stand strong. You know, down with the whatever this is, the monopoly. Down with the monopoly. Keep the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Don't trade it in. It's not worth it. It's a scam. It's a scheme set up by Todd, and they're coming to get you. Don't do it.
In 2012, Mexican TV show Laura aired one of the most disturbing incidents that occurred in Mexico to a woman named Estrella and her two daughters. Estrella was a woman that Laura had gotten a tip on by locals in a small town in Mexico that was said to be held captive for 2 years by her own husband. It is said that he locked her up in a small room while being pregnant with her two daughters who were not allowed to go to school or have any outside communication because allegedly the husband was a religious maniac. This information would set Laura off to go outside of the studio with her crew to rescue Estrella and her two daughters on her own, since allegedly local police couldn't do anything unless they had a warrant for the husband. Laura would then interview the terrified family on the spot. At first they were hesitant to leave out of fear of the husband retaliating, but Laura assured them that they were safe and in good hands. We later found out that Laura got them a temporary safe place to stay as well as therapy for the mistreatment that they went through. This episode was actually a special to celebrate Laura's 100th episode and also to bring awareness and advocate for stronger community and protection for women.
Good work. again. Told you, it's on the whole video. You gotta watch it all in order to see it all.
Rules over approximately 2 billion of the world's 6.1 billion people. The colossal wealth of the Vatican includes enormous investments with the Rothschilds in Britain, France, and the USA, and with giant oil and weapons corporations like Shell and General Electric. The Vatican solid gold bullion worth billions is stored with the Rothschild-controlled Bank of England and the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank. The Catholic Church is the biggest financial power, wealth accumulator, and property owner in existence, possessing more material wealth than any bank, corporation, giant trust, or government anywhere on the globe. The Pope, who is the visible ruler of this colossal global wealth, is one of the richest men on earth. While 2/3 of the world earns less than $2 a day, and 1/5 of the world is underfed or starving to death, the Vatican hoards the world's wealth, profits from it on the stock market, and at the same time preaches about giving. How did the Pope and Vatican accumulate all that wealth over the millennium?
Roman army.
What it was 11. The girl...
Stop talking. You're going to get us killed.
I keep seeing videos about how our timelines are all messed up, like how I didn't know that woolly mammoths were around at the same time that the pyramids were being built, but there's actually so many other weird overlaps that are blowing my mind. And before we dive in, if you love the spooky and dark, you'll love the podcast. Like how Dali died the same year that Daniel Radcliffe was born. And even weirder, Eminem and Picasso were alive at the same time for 2 years. Rosa Parks lived long enough to be able to see the first 2 Shrek movies in theaters. And let's not forget that in her lifetime, she actually sued the band Outkast. When the Declaration of Independence was being signed, no one knew that dinosaurs even existed. Like, dinosaurs had actually not been discovered yet. And let's not forget that Cleopatra was born closer to the invention of the iPhone than to the actual pyramids being built. This one sounds fake, but is totally real. The last person to collect a pension from the Civil War died the year that Obama took office. And finally, the oldest tree alive today was around at the time of woolly mammoths. And not only that, but when the last woolly mammoth died, this tree was already 1,000 years old.
Here you go. Good way to end it. No music. No copyright.
The world's oldest baby was just born in the United States. He was already 30 years old at the time of his birth. Yes, even though he was just born, he is already older than both you and me. But here's the thing. As early as the 1990s, a baby in Ohio was frozen at the embryonic stage. But just a few days ago, that embryo was born and is now a full-fledged baby. His adoptive parents are 34 and 35 years old respectively, and technically, he is actually 30 years old because he was frozen in 1994. This means that his current adoptive parents were just a toddler when he was still an embryo. Isn't that a strange feeling? If this baby had not been frozen but was born in 1994 instead, then he would very likely have attended the same school as his parents. The biological parents of the baby underwent in vitro treatment in the 1990s. They created 4 healthy embryos, but the mother only implanted one of them, and her child has now grown to be 30 years old. So this baby is actually the same age as her siblings, despite the 30-year age gap between them. This is not the first time that a baby has been born from embryos from decades ago. There are millions of similar embryos, but in any case, this baby is now the new world record holder.
I got a really creepy email from a doctor of theology who says he found a book that supposedly doesn't exist while browsing the Vatican archives. He says he wanted to share his story because he thinks that my audience will appreciate the depth and gravity of his experience, and also that there's messages buried in books that humanity is just not ready to accept yet. His name has been changed to protect his privacy, but also I want to say that his email was extremely well written, extremely convincing, and I believe him. In the early 2000s, Dr. Smith was a scholar with an intense focus on religious manuscripts. He had a dream of visiting the Vatican's apostolic archives. The Vatican has extreme requirements in order to access these archives. But in 2008, Dr. Smith secured his credentials. He got an endorsement from a bishop and refined his Latin to scholarly fluency. He was granted entry, and he says the Vatican archives are as awe-inspiring as you would imagine. Upon entering, he was completely overwhelmed. He said the recorders filled with manuscripts dating back centuries, documents hidden from public view until recent history, and he said it was all electrified by the idea that so few people had touched these books. On his third day there, he was sifting through manuscripts when he came across a peculiar title. I don't speak Latin, so I'm going to put it here. He said his Latin is strong, but even without it, he knew immediately what it read, which was the Book of the Dead. He said strangely there was no record of this book existing in the index, but driven by curiosity, he requested access, and the archivist's face immediately went tense when he saw the title. The archivist basically tells him that this is not a book that they generally recommend, and many insist that it was misplaced on purpose in past centuries. He said his tone was cautionary, almost fearful, when he insisted that he wanted to see it. Dr. Smith is led into a dimly lit room with a giant wooden table, and the book is placed before him. It's leather bound, it's cracked with age.
Have you heard of the Lake Peigneur?
Now, I hope you guys enjoyed that. What really got me was that 30-year-old baby being frozen as an embryo for 30 years and then getting unfrozen and born. So at 1, it's really 31. I wonder if the rules change for it, like it's allowed this to drink already. Although I wouldn't suggest it, but I think the rules are going to be whatever it's alive for, it's alive. You know, it's been unfrozen 5 years, it's 5 years old and stuff like that, but that's just weird. But I believe if anything past that, like Walt Disney supposedly got frozen until the technology gets better, but I think like if I was frozen cryogenically or any other way, the cells in my body would just explode from being frozen. It would expand. It would just destroy every single cell in my body. I would need some sort of antifreeze going through my whole system, and we don't have that technology yet. But that's the only way we're able to do it. But I hope you liked watching my video. I hope you guys are a fallen angel by now. If you liked it, please hit thumbs up. Let my fiance know. A little bit of ass shaking here and there in between some videos is working well for the guys. And I'm sorry for the ladies if you're there watching it too and you have to be seeing it. But hit thanks, hit subscribe, and I'll be back later on. I'm going to do that other video about that mishap with the 13, 14-year-old with the 32-year-old, the horrible video. It's not that long, but talk to you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed my videos. And I'm over and out.